So Langston, it's a pleasure to have you. You're one of such a decorated NBA player. You played with the Knicks, started your career with the Knicks, played with Detroit, played with the Kings, played with the Nets, played with some of the greatest players of all time. I mean, Melo, Kyrie, KD. So it's an incredible, basketball career, and now you're playing in Italy. So welcome on board. It's lovely to have you.
No, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be a part of it. And yeah, thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I mean, when we got a reply back from you, we were so ecstatic. Like we were like, "Oh my god, we got to talk to the man who dropped six straight 3 pointers on the Bulls." Oh, I remember watching that live, by the way.
Nice, nice.
God damn. Anyway, so we got to start off, by asking you the first question that any guy would want to ask, while talking to you. You played with, again, some of the greatest talents out there, right? Melo, KD, Anthony Davis. You played with Cousins as well, right?
Yep.
You played with Boogie as well. So among all these star players, who's your favorite teammate? Who's the guy that you love playing with?
Everybody has their unique sense of, I guess you say, camaraderie. And the biggest thing for me is being able to learn from the people that I'm around, being able to help me grow in my career, and so to have obviously Melo at the beginning of my career, what a vet, what a an analyst now for everything that he's doing, getting ready to jump on board with a huge opportunity that he has coming up with NBC. He probably is top five in my kind of book of guys that I've been able to play alongside of. And you have your Drew Holidays, you have your Kyries, you have your KDs. You have so many guys that I've been fortunate enough to play alongside of and be able to learn from. And everybody is wanting to prolong their careers and be able to be the best that they can be. And so there's just not a second that goes by that I don't think everybody that I've come in contact with and learned just a little bit from.
Yeah. So, I mean, who among these had the best work ethic? Like people talk about Kobe's work ethic, but every NBA player is definitely the dude when it comes to working out, keeping in touch with your craft. But among these superstar teammates, who had the best work ethic?
The number one player that I was around the most was Melo, and he, night in, night out, I would always see him obviously come to practice, get his work in. After practice, he would go and get some more shots up, and then you hear about in the summertime, he's working out 3-4 times a day. So it's like just to be able to see that at the beginning of my career really shaped and molded how I wanted my career to prolong. And so there's not a moment that goes by. I'm practicing, I get shots up in the afternoon, just being able to get a routine from like while I'm in the season, while I'm out of the season. And Melo obviously is one top tier. To be able to see this past summer with USA, LeBron up close and personal, and how he takes care of his body to be able to do what he does on the court. KD, another, he just works his ass off every single day. And then you look at Steph. I mean, to see the time and the effort that he puts into it with the shots that he makes in game, like to see it up close and personal this past summer with USA. It's unbelievable. So yeah, now I give a lot of thanks to all of them because I was able to see that up close and personal, and to be able to have my game follow after theirs.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people know that you got to play with that team. You were a part of the USA select team, right?
Yes, correct.
Even before the World Cup as well. So
Yep.
you got to see the young talent, which is right now Halliburton, Edwards,
Yep.
Ant-Man. So you got to see the young talent and the old guards. What do you feel is a significant difference between the approach the youngsters have and the approach that the old guard had?
It's not really like a bad approach, but it's just like it's still the learning process. And I think that a lot of guys don't understand that at the beginning of their careers, like you have to go through a lot to to really understand the dynamic of obviously playing in the NBA, but then also too, just your basketball career in general. And it's like, for example, me being able to be overseas playing now and to see, how guys take care of their bodies, like it's unbelievable because obviously you have hard practices every single day, but then the next day, hey, you might have a game or hey, you might be traveling. It's like you have to find ways to mix in that kind of like off the court, on the court, kind of like mental approach because you need a routine. You have to have a routine, and it helps you go long within this career of playing basketball.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, so how difficult was it transition? Was it to transition from the NBA style of play to the European style of play?
It was difficult. It was difficult because obviously, the game is a little shorter. 10-minute quarters. That's number one, and then number two is being able to get out there and really put my best foot forward to showcase that hey, I'm like fine wine. It's only getting better with the matter of time. So I'm just being able to learn the different positions on the court, 1, 2, 3, being able to guard those different positions. I mean, there's a ton of talent in this world, and being able to go overseas and really challenge the best of the best. Overseas, it's been great. It's been great, and I've enjoyed it. My family has enjoyed it. So yeah, I look forward to this thing continue to roll, continue to go, and continue to play this game that I love.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, especially now because the average American viewer, a fan, is finally getting to know how fundamentally sound those European players are, right? With Jokic and Sengun. So, do you feel that it's in how they are brought up, how they grow up, or is it just how different the coaching or the style of play is? Like, what makes them so different from your average American player?
The one thing I would say is players overseas have kind of dedicated time towards basketball from the sense of like when you're starting out young, you see they have like obviously in school, most of the times it's more dedicated to like, all right, if you want to play basketball, you want to play football, which is soccer here in the States. It's like you want to play those sports, you kind of like not really dive into it and be strategic with like, all right, I want to do this one sport the rest of my life. But you can see the kids kind of do a lot of different sports. All the kids over there know how to play football, which is soccer. All the kids understand, how to lift weights at a young age. Like, it's just all encompassing of like the fundamentals of when you're starting out young to where you're at to high school, and it's like then it becomes more about the practice and the fundamentals and the coaches being able to critique and learn. It's like you have a full day where in the States obviously it's a little difficult because it's so much going on. You have school, you have practice and all that, but when you really look at like how over there the fundamentals are built from an early age and they just continue to go, and you can see it in, like I said, the footwork, the dedication to the game, and a lot of kids over there, they sacrifice a lot because they're trying to get out of the situation that they're in to help their families.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So your rookie class, I think, is one of the most talented in recent history. You had Jokic, Zach LaVine, Wiggins, Embiid, and still you made the all rookie team, right? You were in the second team, right?
Yep.
How competitive was that? How difficult was it to get there, especially as a rookie because you went undrafted, right? And I
Yes.
mean, it must have taken a toll on your confidence, but you kept going and made it into the all rookie team.
Yeah. No.
How was it?
Yeah. I really wasn't looking at like the all making it to the all rookie team. I was just playing. I was fighting for my life every single day, and
Yeah,
at the guard position, it's difficult because every single night you got somebody you're playing against. One night you might have CP3, the next night you might have Westbrook, the next night after that you might have Kyrie. It's like every single night there's somebody that you have to face that you literally have to go against, and like, all right, you want to stop them, number one, but then number two, you still got to go do it on the offensive end as well. So it's like it's truly was amazing at the time because I was just going. I really didn't have the capacity to think about looking up. I just kind of had my head down in the ground, grinding, and my three sayings: dedicated and sacrificing a lot, dedicated, sacrificing a lot, and then just my hard work. It took me a long way, and it's still doing that to this day.
yeah. What was your welcome to the NBA moment?
My what, second game. Yeah, my second game we played against the Rockets, and so we had James Harden, and I remember my friends that texted me before the game was like, "Yo, like, don't get crossed up tonight." And I remember like in my head laughing like, "Oh man, like I really could get on the island at one point in this game, and I really got to put on my shoes." So, but yeah, nah, it was a once in a lifetime game for me. I played well, but we still lost. But the chance to play against like I said, like Harden and the guys on the Rockets at the time, you had Dwight Howard, you had Josh Smith, you had all those guys on the team at the time, and I mean it was just a dream come true. There really wasn't like a moment where I like got put on ice or anything like that, but just more so just out there playing the game I love and the game I've been always passionate about. So to be in that moment playing in Madison Square Garden, there's nothing you can say or do that ever changed my life. Being able to make my dreams come true. So it's good.
You also got to play against Dwayne Wade, right? You
Yeah.
faced Wade as well. So you faced the archetype guards that were from the early 2000s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
like Wade, Chris Paul, and then you faced the guards like Westbrook, the early new age guards, and then you faced people like Steph and the guards that are now.
Yep.
So the era of basketball has drastically turned towards 3-point shooting. Did you find it difficult to cope with when you were coming into the NBA, and then you had to gradually, keep up with the change in the NBA game style?
No, not at all. My game is based on obviously getting up and down, up tempo style basketball. I love up tempo style basketball, and I was already I think when I started out coming out of college, I was already 40% from three. I was already shooting a hell of a clip from getting to the basket, being able to get to the mid range, knock down shots. So it really transferred over really well. Being able to get to my spots on the court, and then hey, when my teammates found me, knocking down big shots at big points of the game. So that's always been my career. I always get into my spots. It's never mattered who's guarding me. Smaller, taller, whatever. I always made a an opportunity out of nothing. And so that's been my whole career. Just fighting to figure out and adjust and being able to maneuver through the leagues. Wherever I'm playing at.
Hi, hello. Can
Yeah,
you hear me now?
yeah. Can you hear me now?
Sorry, I think I lost you for a second. I
Okay.
apologize for that.
No, it's okay.
So when you're growing up, who was the player that you try to emulate?
One player that I think that everybody always says in interviews and different things like that. Allen Iverson was my one guy that I looked up to, that I always wanted to be like. Wear the sleeve and headband and all that, and it truly emulated my game against like his. Going out every single night, giving 1,000%, being able to just be the best that he could be on the court. Not really like something specific, but he just like, always just got the job done. You never, you always look up at that scoreboard and you're like, man, he got 20, 30 points. It's like, but he got the job done. And then, another person I looked up to in my career of like how my game has evolved is Chauncey Billups. That was another guy that I looked up to, always handling the ball, but, knocking down big shots in big moments. So I've always, focus my game on like, hey, when the time is crunch time and we need a bucket or hey, we need to get a stop. I always try to get those moments to be in my hands.
Yeah. I mean, if you get only a limited amount of playing minutes, you gotta make an impact.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, you did make a huge impact, right? If we go through YouTube, there are just videos like so much footage of your moves, your ball handling, obviously your 3-point shooting, and you could go to the rim as well. Like for a for a small guard, you could really take it up there and have those air battles. Who do you think, as a small guard, is the best ever at it? Going to the rim and meeting those big men and
Yeah,
dunking on their heads.
right now, everybody talks about Ja. you look at like what Ja's doing, I mean, he's dunking on 7-footers left and right, every single night. I
Yeah.
mean, he's really shown that it doesn't matter, how tall you are. Ja's about my height, a little taller maybe, if that. And man, I mean, he flies through the air, and I mean, he's challenging everybody at the rim. So it's difficult. It's you get up that high, it's gonna be some punishment you got to deal with because these bigs like they don't want to get dunked on. So, but it's fun. It's fun to see. It's fun to see because obviously it's like you playing a whole bunch of giants. You gotta find a way to make it make sense.
Ever during the practice, did you ever get into like an altercation with one of your big men because you dunked on them? Did that ever happen?
Not me. No, I wasn't like a in practice dunker. I got my chances to kind of sneak dunks. That was it in my career.
Yeah,
But other than that, no, it's no me. We just have a good practice and keep pushing. Always flares. That come up, but it's all about hey, how do we get better? How do we continue to find a way to win?
yeah. That makes a lot of sense, honestly. So this brings us to another topic that I really wanted to discuss. So recently, I was listening to Stephen Jackson. Right, he was talking about um, how sometimes how volatile the locker room is, and this is something that fans don't really have, a window to, and you only get to know about it when former players talk about it. Did you ever get to witness a locker room brawl, like a fight?
I'm trying to think. Throughout my career, not really. I mean, I've seen some arguments, yeah, for sure. Some arguments, some disagreements, some brawls. Nah, not really. I mean, if anything is about to happen, most times guys break it up. But yeah, nah, you have your differences as players. Everybody has their differences. Everybody has their own, mindset, own egos that you got to deal with. And yeah, no, it comes with a competitive locker room. That's what you want. You want that kind of tension. That way, it makes it like more advantageous for the chemistry to kind of grow.
Yeah, right. So right now, Langston, you're running, I think, two ventures, right? You're running LG Kicks and you're running Ethics brand. Talk to us about them. Like,
Yeah,
what are they?
yeah.
Yeah,
Ethics is my own baby. As you can see, you got the hat on,
yeah.
and
I
all the
need the merch.
and all the shoes behind me. Yeah, nah. Ethics is my baby. I've been growing this for the last coming up on 4 years this year. Yeah, we've been growing it the last 4 years and just trying to find ways to kind of evolve, continue to do our due diligence, going through the data and trying to find the best way that we can kind of make our imprint in the sneaker business. And so, we're a lifestyle performance brand that dedicates towards like your athletes that understand purpose and meaning behind the shoes and the clothing and about who the people are, who the person that's wearing the shoe, how impactful they are, and what they've learned and grown throughout their lives. So yeah, no, we're crawling. We're still crawling, at our beginner stages and just trying to find ways to be better. And yeah, no, it's been truly amazing to see this thing grow from where we were at a couple years ago to now, and look, we got a lot more to go, and then LG Kicks is my kind of like my warehouse where I have all the shoes housed, and that's just kind of like my own little like personal wave to kind of like build the community of like ethics and be able to see people come to my stores and buy the shoes. Like I have a ton of shoes that I've worn in the past or shoes that I've collected over the years that now I'm trying to get rid of because obviously I have my own brand with ethics kind of going, so really have no time to wear them. So but it's good. It's good. It's a kind of big umbrella that everything's under, and I'm just enjoying the journey of being passionate about my sneakers.
You had that moment with Kobe before he retired, right? You got him to sign your shoes. Tell us about that story.
Yeah, nah, we were, after the game, obviously, we played him twice that year. And so, first time, didn't know that he was going to retire that year. He had been dealing with some injuries and different things like that. And second time, we out in LA, and I'm like, all right, look, I got to get something from him. Maybe it's a jersey, maybe it's something, that he's worn, and so I just saw how everybody was reacting, trying to get stuff signed from him at the end of the game, and I was like, the game's over, showered, heading to the locker room, and I'm like, look, let me just take this opportunity to go over there and try to just first of all meet him because I had playing against him is different than meeting him off the court, and then secondly, hey, seeing if he could sign something of mine. And so, waited for him outside the locker room. He signed my shoes and, put them in my house. And, they're stored away, man. Some personal belongings that, never have a amount value a part of that because of the history and, the legacy that he created. Because, most guys, myself included, live by, his mantra. And so it's really helped me in my career throughout my endeavors.
Yeah, I mean, his impact was all over the world. I grew up in Delhi, you know, revering him, following him.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't have good coaches here, right? So we just watch a lot of Kobe footage and try to do what he was doing on the court. So his impact was everywhere. All of us grew up loving him. So
Yep,
having that moment must have felt really, so valuable.
for sure, for sure.
I honestly want to know. So, we hear about a lot of NBA players going broke, not managing their finances well. You are running two brands, especially ethics. You're doing great work with it. Clearly, what you have told us, it's going to be a great success, and we wish the best upon you. But we want you to give the youth, the upcoming players, advice on how to deal with, their on court. Obviously, on court takes priority. What you're doing on the court takes priority. But how to manage it with your what you're doing off court, your ventures, how to focus and direct yourself in that, you know, to understand that it's
Yeah,
business.
I understand what you mean. Yeah, no, I've been truly fortunate to have the right people around me. Obviously, my wife has really helped me with a lot of different things. But and first and foremost, like being able to find a way to build, your wealth, financial wealth, and security for you and your family. Obviously, I have two kids, I have a wife. Everybody has their own needs, and so that's one part of it. That's in a nutshell for your needs, in a day to day, day in, day out, and being able to first and foremost invest your money into the right situations. I've been fortunate to be able to put some of my money into some tech companies that have done really well for me. That continue to give me some gain, some residual, and day in, day out, and then for the long haul. Just finding ways to, like I said, with ethics and with a number of different things that I've kind of put, with some houses and different things like that, and put them up on a renter market. Just trying to find ways to bring in some residual. That way, obviously basketball is like kind of the engine that drives me. But then also too, for off the court, finding ways to make it, set up my family for the rest of our lives. Because obviously, I want to be able to be taken care of, when this ball starts bouncing, but then, being able to keep this thing rolling once it does.
Yeah, financial intelligence is really important, especially in this day and age, right? I mean, so many youngsters are trying to make it in the pro world. So, yeah, this is great advice. Thank you so much. I also want to talk about the Langston Galloway Foundation because I was reading up about it. You guys are doing some great work. Tell us about what the foundation is doing, what your focus is, and one project that made you think this is what I wanted to do, and now we're doing it. Tell us
Yeah,
about
Langston Galloway Foundation, it's been in existence now for the last 9 years now, and we've enjoyed the journey of being able to give back to the community of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That was the first, foremost, and the most impactful thing that we wanted to do was find ways to give back to where myself and my wife, Sabrina Galloway, grew up, and being able to find ways to teach the youth about being a student athlete, working on your wellness, your health, and being able to find ways to push through the mental fatigue of a season, of the day in, day out, dealing with not just your parents, but being able to work together with your parents on getting your schoolwork done and things like that, and eating the right things as well. So those areas have really been impactful for not just for myself, but for my wife, and then how we are raising our kids to be able to obviously keep that book, on the table, making sure that we take care of our schoolwork, and then then sports can come after that. So, it's a fine line, and a lot of guys that I've played my career with have went along the path of like, all right, athletics is number one, and school second, and then it's falling by the wayside. So I've always tried to make sure that everybody that I've come in contact with, whether that being older, younger, whatever the case may be, trying to get your education number one, and then you can kind of go from there. You can really have a legacy for looking back and saying, all right, myself, I was able to get 2 degrees in school, sports marketing and communication. So, I have a lot of different avenues that I can kind of go along and try to help me whenever my career is over. But then also too, it's like you look at how so many athletes have just tried to figure out, like, all right, how do I give back? How do I give back towards the community that, not just grown up in, but also to the areas that, I'm a part of. So it's really been good, really been fun. And, me and my wife, we're just enjoying it to all the people that we continue to meet and continue to impact. Like we meet people on the day in, day out, and like, hey, I was at your camp, or hey, I was one of your scholarship athletes. So it's like, it's a ton of different things that we've kind of learned and being able to do in the community, whether that be in the courts that we've been able to refurbish in the community, the scholarships that we put together, whether that be the number of kids that have come through our camps, our free basketball clinics every single year. So the list goes on, and we're just so thankful to be able to give back and see, the full circle of it.
That's brilliant. Giving back to the community, especially because you made it, right? Uh, it, Nothing more beautiful than that. Uh, so, Langston, before we, part ways, before we end the conversation, I want to revisit your Team USA select days. Teams USA Team Select, right? So you got to play against LeBron James and Steph Curry and KD. They were balling together.
Yep.
What was that like? Did you also get to practice with Cooper Flag?
Yeah. We practiced and played alongside of them, it was. I mean, what an experience last summer to see. Number one, like that team assembled and being able to, obviously, looking forward, like seeing them get the gold medal and being a part of that. And so, rewind back to the summer, leading up to that point, seeing Cooper Flag up close and personal, and seeing the talent, obviously, the skill on display, playing against the top players in the world. And you could tell right away that he was going to be the number one pick looking back last year. So to see where he's taking the Duke squad to now, getting an opportunity to be the number one pick in the NBA draft. I mean, hey, it's come to fruition. So now I'm happy for him, but also too, you really get a chance to see, who's worked on the game and who is continued to grow, and he's gonna be a force to deal with for a long time in this league.
Yeah. So when obviously you watch the Olympic games, right? You're watching Team USA because you practice so much with them. Was there any moment you were genuinely afraid these guys would lose?
Every game you have to go into it with a fine line of like knowing that, hey, look, anybody can beat you, especially if it's one game, and it all can be over. And so to see the teams that are put together not just in one month, 2 months before the whole Olympics. I mean, you get a chance to see the Serbian national team. I mean, a hell of a team. You see the French national team. All these teams have been playing together for years. It's not just one moment where they're just putting them together and saying, all right, let's find a way to build our chemistry, and then we kind of go from there. But that's where you really get a chance to see, like, how talented the world has become and continues to grow when it comes to the basketball landscape. So it's really fun to see every single country in the Olympics compete against each other, and seeing it, just seeing the top basketball in the world come out and be the best that they can be.
What an experience, though. That Serbia versus USA game, I think the best game I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah, that was
It's
unbelievable.
breathtaking. Yeah. Uh, Fortunately, you guys pushed through, though. That was
Yeah,
wonderful as well.
yeah.
So, uh, during practices, right? Like where you're playing people like LeBron, Steph, do these guys go really hard in the practices, or do they try to not get injured, or make sure they keep their energies intact so to be able to give their all in the games? Is there
No,
is there a different mentality?
no, everybody goes hard. I mean, it's when you're in a practice setting, it's not a moment where you're like, all right, I'm gonna just lax off because all right, I have somebody guarding me. You have to. A lot of people don't understand when you're watching the NBA game or you're watching like for example like the USA compete against each other in practice. It's like it's dog eat dog, and you want to be the best in the on the court. You don't want to go out there and just give a half effort, and it's like you want to go out there and showcase like, hey, look, this is what I've been working on. Like, it's a reason why I'm the best. So like, everybody has their moment, their opportunity to say, all right, look, this is my stamp. I want to put this and say, hey, look, this is who I am. This is why they pay me the big bucks. Everybody has that chip on their shoulder. So that's why I love those moments. I love the competition level because in a setting like that, you had the 12 best players in the world, and they get a chance to compete against each other and really get a chance to see, who's who. And so, after practice playing one-on-one and just playing against each and every one of the players, throughout practice, those opportunities you can't make up.
That's what makes them the best in the world, I
Yep.
suppose. Yeah. uh, what's one moment from your career, like the entire career, not just saying NBA, Team USA, obviously also help them qualify, right? So Team USA, NBA, or your European career, that's still one moment that still gives you the chills. Like you remember it and you feel, oh, wow.
I wouldn't pinpoint one moment. I just think that I'm just thankful and just excited about the opportunity to play this game that I love. Every single city that I've played in, whether that be in the states, whether it be overseas in Italy. Like, I mean, I've enjoyed every single opportunity I've had to lace it up and go on that court, and then as of recently, being able to go on the court and have my kids watch, and so that means the world to me. So those moments after the games, and you have your kids there, and they run on the court and give you a big hug, and especially um, them being able to have those moments to remember when they grow up and then they have their own kids. It's like you enjoy those moments. Those are moments that are like just priceless. So yeah, nah, I've been able to enjoy this career. It's coming up on year 12 for me professionally, and I'm just enjoying the journey. I want to keep playing this thing until I can't play it anymore. So I'm excited. Another year coming up, and excited to see what's next. What's next?
Yeah, it was wonderful talking to you, man. You've
Thank you.
given us so much
Thanks for having
insight.
me on. Yes.
Yeah, wishing you the best with Ethics brand,
Thank,
obviously.
thank
I
you.
hope to get some merch soon. So yeah. All right. Wonderful talking to you, Langston. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Take care.
Yeah.